event. Let me introduce our speaker, Snehal Patil. She is a mobile lead at Yahoo, co-founder and former director of Women Who Code Silicon Valley. So let me stop sharing screen. Snehal, you can start.
Okay. Hello, everyone. It's nice to be here. Very excited to be here to meet you all. And I did not realize that this is the 10th year anniversary of Women Who Code. How exciting! I remember I started Women Who Code Silicon Valley in 2014. And that time I started it with the first boot camp ever conducted for the Silicon Valley, and that was the how to build an iOS app. And that was a 4-week event. We had one session per week, and today, after 10 years, uh, I'm continuing with that. And today we have a SwiftUI, another mobile boot camp or a workshop where we will learn how to do the UI development using SwiftUI for mobile applications. So that's amazing. Thank you. Thank you, Luba, for that wonderful um, introduction for Women Who Code. It's really mind-blowing to see how it has been expanded in 147 plus countries, and so many women have been reached out, and so many women have been helped throughout this. It's a proud moment. Definitely. So without further ado, we can get going for today's session. And uh, I really want to thank Jody and the team for helping me to be here and have this workshop conducted. So big thanks to them before I start. So I would like to see your faces. So please turn on the videos. I would highly request you that. This is going to be a very interactive session. I don't want to talk to the tiles on the Zoom session. And ask me questions, raise your hands if you have any questions. Um, First of all, I have a question, and you can type your answers in the chat, or um, you can just unmute yourself and speak about it. I want to gauge the audience. How many years of experience you have in the development, software development altogether, or in the mobile development? Have you worked with iOS development before or Android development before? Just trying to see how the audience is, so that way I can take my workshop further. So yeah, type it in. Great to see some windows are opening up. Anybody? Have you done? Okay, Lily is saying she's a student and she has no mobile development experience before. Okay, no problem. We are going to start with very basics today. 0 years of development coming from UX UI design. Interested to learn more? That's great, Catherine. No experience with SwiftUI, a small amount of JS. Okay. I have 10 years with Android. Luba. Okay. I'm a DS wanting to transition into SE, and I don't have any prior mobile development experience. All right. Bianca said I graduated from boot camp in April this year, so I have less than 1 year at this point. All right. First year of iOS developer at my job. Woohoo, Melissa. I did a coding boot camp but haven't gotten into mobile development yet. Okay. 2+ years of experience of mobile development. Awesome. Great answers, everybody. That was lovely to see that there are people from various background, and I'm really excited to start the workshop. All right. I probably may not see chat while I speak, but if you have questions, raise your hand and we'll go from there. So let me share my screen. Hopefully everybody can see this.
No, not yet.
Oh, not yet. Okay. Share. Okay.
Okay, it's coming, I think. Yes.
Okay.
Well, not now. I saw the screen, the slideshow briefly.
Oh, really?
Now I see your notes.
Okay, stop. Again, let's try this. Desktop to share. How about now?
Yes.
Awesome. Great.
Okay.
So, little bit about SwiftUI. SwiftUI is a very new, relatively new framework, which is introduced by Apple in 2019. Prior to that, we used to use UIKit for all the UI development on the iOS, and SwiftUI is their new version, new framework. It provides developer declarative syntax to create user interfaces for apps running on iOS, iPadOS, macOS, watchOS, tvOS, and now the Vision OS as well. Everybody have heard about the Vision Pro? The big glasses, right? Excited? If you learn this, you can develop the apps for Vision Pro as well. So how exciting that is. So this is a very cross-functional, cross-platform framework that they've developed. And that's what it makes it different from the UI kit. UI kit is only for iOS, iPadOS, watchOS, tvOS, but you can't do the macOS development using UI kit. So that's for SwiftUI. It is using Swift framework programming language as well. And it's very easy to build UI or user interfaces using Swift. It's very aesthetically pleasing and very fast to develop. Any UI development, you can use it for quick prototypes, you can use it for any quick views that you want to build. So it's very quick to use and very easy to use compared to UIKit. UIKit, you have to drag and drop the elements, and sometimes if you have to build very, very complex UI, then probably it's a good idea to use this UIKit. But if you want something quick, nicer, then that is SwiftUI you can go ahead with. UIKit was introduced in 2007, and since then it's been used in many applications. You can probably pick up any mobile app on the iOS, or like Facebook, WhatsApp, like Google, all of them probably are built with UIKit. And slowly people are transitioning from UIKit to the SwiftUI in even all these bigger companies. I see that in the software development, in the startups, people probably are using SwiftUI more than the bigger companies, because bigger companies has their legacy code, and it is not easy to change the older version of development with the newer frameworks that is getting released. But nowadays I see there is much more adoption and much more migration from UIKit to the SwiftUI. That's what I've been seeing right now. So that's a little bit background about UIKit and SwiftUI. I thought we will have some people from mobile development who have done UIKit before. That's why I got this comparison slide. But we have a lot of other backgrounds. So let me start explaining now every detail of this slide. So this was a little comparison between if you already know how to develop the UI applications using the UI kit, what would be the equivalent of that into the Swift UI. So UI table view is one of the view in the UI kit which basically shows the table, and I'm actually just going to Google it for you now and show you what I meant by table view and what I meant by list. So that's how the table looks like table view. It just has a table which like number of rows are there, and you can just scroll infinite. Like all your Facebook application is developed into the UI table view. All the every post or the Instagram application, every post, it's one post, then second post, then third post. All of them are into the table view or the collection view. I'm going to type the collection view now. That's another. Yeah, so this is how the collection view will look like, which is kind of a grid structure. So we will see that today, but this is the basic of any iOS development. This is how the collection view will look like. This is used probably in your Instagram where you are going and checking your photos or your prior reels. So it pops up a grid kind of a structure where all the photos are there, or even the photos application on the iOS. So that's your collection view. Scroll view is just to help to scroll infinitely. Label is a label, a text. Probably you guys know that whoever has done the UI development, even on the web, text field is a text field. And then switch is a toggle, like, you probably have seen yes and no kind of a buttons on your mobile application. So that's the toggle. Slider is like a slider where you can slide. Buttons are buttons. You can press the buttons and some action can be performed after that. Navigation controller is a very interesting part. So I'm just gonna again Google and show you like this. Probably you have seen this, like, you click on one thing and then another page opens up, and then you click on something else and then the another page opens up. So it's like a navigating from one page to the another page. And this is like a stack of views or stack of screens which are on top of each other, and then you can come back as well. So that's as simple as navigation views. Alert view controllers are the one which gives you pop-up, hey, press this button, or hey, my app has expired, like, and download a new app, those kind of alert view. And then stack views is very important to stack the various views, that you can have different labels or different text and different images, and you can stack them vertically or horizontally. Let me know if I'm just going very basic, but I saw there were some students as well, so I just want to go very basic level. And image view is the one of the like object that is provided to populate images. uh, and then segment control is a picker. uh, Stepper is like, for incrementing and decrementing, like, you can have a plus minus kind of a object there. And all of these are UI elements, and we will see how to use them today. So that will just tell you how the basics of Swift UI. How do you create a tag, like, a label? How do you create a button? How do you create a table view? And once you know the basic, then you can use your imagination and create your applications, because now you know the basics, and then you just sky's the limit with that. And I would like you to go to this GitHub page and download things from there. I can type this in the chat as well, so that everybody is aware. I have kept this presentation as well on that GitHub page, and there are some images that I've downloaded. So what I'm going to do now is going to create, I hope everybody has a Xcode on their machine, and we will be coding together. So how many of you have Xcode on your machine and you're going to do it with me? Raise your hand, please. Okay, good. We have good amount of people who can follow and we can just have fun coding, right? Coding is fun. Awesome. So we will go ahead and create a new project in the Xcode. Yeah, so that's how the new okay. That's one of the project, my old project, but you go new project, oops, not packages, new project, and you choose the application for iOS, then click next, and you can type in SwiftUI Demo Application. And make sure that you choose the interface as a SwiftUI. I can talk about the storyboards, but maybe later on. And then language as your Swift, and then click next. And then you can just save it somewhere on your and then create, and that will create an application like this. On the left side, you will see the code. On the right side, you will see the content view. Everybody sees that? And let me know if I'm too fast. I can be slow. So as you see that this already has some code here, and let's try to understand that code. What is this? Like, probably some of you are seeing SwiftUI application very first time. So we have this Swift demo application that is a main. So it will start from here. There is a window is this window, and that window has this content view. The white view that you see is a content view. And then there is another struct which basically says this is a preview. So you are previewing what? The content view. Make sense? Yeah. Now we already see there is this small hello world and there is an image, globe image there, right? So that is how the text view looks like. Just a text, and inside that you can type in I am in Women Who Code workshop. That's it. As simple as that. Creating a text. And then you can see that there is this image as well, that is globe image. And then you may ask me, what is this? What is the, like, okay, there is no dot after text, but you can do that by saying some font, and you can set it to 12 or 20, something like that. Cannot read that. So we can just do large text or something. So all these things are modifiers. Below whatever we have mentioned here, they are modifiers. And this is a text. So this is the element, and then these are the modifiers below that. So are you guys with me? Do you have this much going on at your, yeah? All right. So I want you to try, next thing is you can replace this and then put a text there which says New York, and the font weight is bold and font system blah 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 there. And I'm going to paste this inside the chat there so that you can access it from the chat. And try that inside your body. And let me know how does that work. And do you see there New York or not? So we learned about a text here. You can try different things here, bold, black, whatever, like you can just put a dot there and see what is there, heavy or regular. So this is how you would change the font of a text. Font weight, font. The next thing, okay, somebody says, Zenzi says she's trying. Okay, great. Next thing I want you to try is this. And I want you to change things there. So if I do this, this is how it looks like. And then you add a frame and that looks like this. You add a line, then it looks like this. And you can say 2 lines. Or you can say 3 lines, so 4 lines. And then line spacing is like a 10 or 20 or 40, like that. Have you guys tried that? Let me paste this in this chat as well. That way you can just copy paste it into your Xcode. Is it helping? Do you guys see the change?
Does anyone need help?
Okay. And you can see, like, once you put a dot here, you can see what all you can do with the text. Background, or maybe the color, or just you can see, just put a dot and see what you can do it with this. Position, navigation title, on appear, body, so many things that you can do. So try it, play with it, and that will help you to understand how the text work. Now let's try something else. Now let's try a button. So you can type in button and then press me. And as you can see, there is a button getting created. And if you see your console, which you can just, like, drag this bottom bar, it will show you up. And if you keep pressing, it will keep printing. So it's actually showing you after after you press your button, what action is getting done there. You could add a little bit more padding to your button. You could add a background for that, and you could clip a shape as well. That way it will look nicely grounded. You can change the color, red color, blue color, whatever color. Nice. Let me paste this for you so that some of you, if you don't want to type in, you can copy paste from here. Somebody is asking, how do I change the preview to the phone? You can console. Okay, you can go file, or you can just drag and, like, there is this bottom bar, and go from here and pull the console. Or I think view should have somewhere console. or file, not in the file. Debug area, activate your console. So that's how you go it. View, debug area, activate your console, hide your console, and then debug area, activate your console. So that's how you go. Somebody's asking, how would you create an outline button with the white fill and blue outline? That's a great question. We're gonna go there. We will learn that. It's great.
Snehal, somebody asked how they are able to get to the phone view
Yeah, phone preview.
preview.
Um, so it's not like your screen is not split up like this. Then maybe go into view and usually it just shows here. Maybe from here we can see. Yeah, it shows canvas and inline comparison and wrap lines there.
So she is only seeing a black box with a button where you have a phone.
Yeah, okay.
What are those little icons down there?
Yeah, probably from here you can. No, it's a color scheme variant. Okay, let's see. From the view, it should be navigator. Editor canvas. Somebody typed in editor and canvas.
Yeah,
There-
I just tried that. It just opens and closes like I have like the content view open, but for some reason, yeah, it's not that big of a deal. We can continue. I can still see the content. It's just not like in the format of a phone.
Oh, okay. Okay. No worries. I'm glad at least you're able to see that. So yeah, great. So some of you were asking about the some styling of the button. So let's look at the styling of the button. So for that, you can use this protocol called as a button style. And then imagine you have to create like, hundreds of buttons, and then you will not keep replicating like the modifiers for hundreds of buttons. So instead of that, you can just create a struct which is basically conforming to the protocol of button style, and that can define a similar button, and that button you can use for your application. So let's try that and see how does that look. Just like that. So that is how you style a button style protocol it is called. I'm going to paste this again in this chat so that you can try it. Now there is another style that you could add. Here you can see that the modifier is padding, background color, and then foreground is white and clip shape is capsule. Now there is this growing button. So instead of using a button style as a blue button, we can use it as a growing button. And then now let's see what is happening here is you have a padding, background, foreground, clip shape. This was already there in the button, blue button. Now you've added a scale effect as well and a little bit of animation that will, when you press that, it basically creates an animation. So let's try that out. See, look at that. So you could try these animations. I'm going to paste that it here as well so that you can try. And I'm going to wait here for a few minutes or a few seconds so that you get a chance to try it out and see how that looks like. And now imagine you want to have a multiple buttons. You can create a stack, vertical stack. We'll talk about the vertical stack in a little bit, but you can just do like the stack, like press me 1, press me 2, So that could be like a stack. You can just add a text inside this. I am happy. And then you can just add, you can also add a horizontal stack like this. And then that's how your buttons will look like. 3 buttons in one row. So that's your horizontal stack and a vertical stack. So you can stack these buttons in these two directions. We'll talk a little bit more about it, but I want you to try the buttons and the different styles that we can add. And there are a lot of other modifiers that you could use. That just take a look at the list here. I have just given you something basic to begin with and to play with. Does that help? Keep typing into the chat windows that I tried. I can see the buttons, I can play with it, something like that, so that I have some feedback. Yes, it's working for me, Regina says. That's great, Regina. I'm happy. I can play with the buttons. Yay! No exact match to call to the instance method, but button style. Because probably you did not add the button style this struct. You need to add this button style struct. Awesome. So yeah, that's the button. So we tried buttons, we tried we tried text. Let's try slider. It's very simple. So imagine we have a, I'm just going to override this just to play with. For now. One minute. Let me try the slider. One more time, we need to add a variable there. So this is called as a state variable, which basically holds the value for blur amount, and then that will take out all the error. Let me share this with you on the chat. That way you can try this. So how this works is, this is the slider. And we are utilizing the value of the slider to determine the blur effect of the text. I thought this is something cool to try. So we have a text here and we are using a blur modifier on that, and the slider is basically giving the blur amount, which is 0 to 20. Jody is saying very cool. Awesome. So that's some basic things. Now let me bring up the presentation back and talk about this stack and spacer. So we already saw how the vertical Vstack would look like. So Vstack is basically just the vertically stacked element, and you could stack text or you could stack buttons or any images or anything like it, just holding the various elements inside the Vstack. And we can try that inside our Xcode. We already have a Vstack here, we already have a text, and we already have a slider here. But let's just try something. And you can see that there is this spacer, which is creating a space between the hello world and the text second line. And if we remove the spacer, what happens? They are nearby. And you can also add an alignment here, leading, trailing, like that. And that way it will adjust the text inside it. So just wanted to show you how this vertical stack would work. And yeah, so that's the vertical stack. And similar to that, we have a horizontal stack, and you can just stack the elements horizontally. It just helps us to basically align things properly. In the olden days, you really had to worry about the spacing between the two elements and spacing around the elements and the padding around that. So that is just made very easy by this stack views. So a very handy element that you could use. And then we want to talk about the spacer as well. So spacer is just this one, you can just write it like a spacer here, and that's it. And then it creates a space between the two elements, which will be basically utilizing the rest of the area in your mobile phone. So what happens is, however space is given to it, it will utilize that. So that's the job of the spacer. So you can stack and make the complex layouts or the simple layouts and use spacer and play with those elements. So that's all about the VStack and the H stack. So we already played with the spacer and the elements. I want to talk about the Z stack. So Z stack is something if you want to overlay one element over another. For example, here in this, you can see that there is a rectangle here, and then there is a text here, and there is a spacer and another text and padding. So let's go ahead and try that inside our body. And I'm going to paste this inside our my chat so that you guys can take a look at that. Keep sharing what is happening with you. That way I will know what's happening. So you can try this rectangle, spacer, those kinds of things. There is another example of a Z stack. I want to try that. So I had a image in the you can anywhere drag and drop any of this image, but there is an image given to you in your this thing, the GitHub page that I shared. So 1 minute, I'm just going to drag some image into this project, and then we can use that image there. 1 minute, I will just get some image. A cat image. As you can see that I just dragged some cat image and placed it over my asset. And if I go to the content view, the cat image should come up. Oh. There we go. Background, you can say red. And then type it. Do you see that? I'm just going to again copy paste this so that you can see how. So we saw earlier that there were these elements one after another, like 3 buttons stacked one after another or horizontally one after another. They were not overlapping one on top of other. Now you can here see that there is an image in the background, and then there is a text that can be basically put over the image. So this is like, the multiple elements can be put on top of each other. So that is the job of the Z stack. Anybody tried that? Let me know how that works. You can download any image, doesn't have to be a cat image. Just download any image and add it to the project, and that will help you to try this. Another cool thing. I'll wait for you here for a few seconds so that you can try. I'm trying to see how can I see people's faces. Works well, somebody said. Shioma said works well. Where do you add and save the cat image? You can add a cat image inside the assets or inside the, actually inside the project. Just drag and drop. Like I have this image here downloaded. I just dragged and dropped here like this. Not going to do that because I already have it. But any image, like, you can just drag and drop it here and it will pop up this window. And then you say finish, and then you can take that image and then instead of cat, maybe you can put that. You can also do the same thing in the assets as well. Put the image there. Awesome. So let's go to the next one. Shapes and strokes. Yeah, so that's another cool thing to try. Like you could just draw a circle. So go back here and then replace the, I'm just going to do it as a Vstack, and then draw a circle there. And you can change some 100, height, width, like that. So these are some shapes to try. And eclipse, rectangle, all these kinds of things. So the rectangle probably need a frame. Try the things. And there is a rounded rectangle or eclipse. Oops, it didn't get copied. The ignore safe area, do you see this black circle that is saved for camera? So it will ignore that space basically. So that is the ignore safe area. Yeah, you can see this capsule, which is used in a lot of buttons and all. So just like this is very useful. Circle is useful. So some more elements to try. Nothing great about it, but I don't know how and when this will be useful to you in your application development. So that was some shapes. Yeah, this is something cool. Another Z thing. Let's try that. So do you see how we used shape to try to create a beautiful view here? I'm going to paste that Uh, there, can you paste the shapes here? Okay, yeah, sorry, I'll paste the shapes. Actually, this example, the one that I just pasted already has shapes there, so you can utilize that. So I created a beautiful view just by using shapes. So I used a rectangle, and as you see that this is a Z stack. So we used a Z stack to overlap the V stack and the rectangle. So we are now going more complex and complex. So the V stack has a text, my book, then the capsule as a sign in, the another capsule, sign up, and then another capsule with forgot name, and then there is some padding and background and clip shapes and things like that. Okay, I think somebody tried and that works. That's great. It's working. I can see what you have. Awesome, Brinda is saying. So that's about shape. Now you may ask me, these are some of the images people use. So there is this SF symbols. I don't know how many of you know, but you can just go and Google them, and that will take you to the Apple's page, and you can download them. And once you download them, it will ask you to install. It's a .dmg. So install that. That will basically, you can see there are so many SF symbols that can be used with the various shapes and sizes, and you can mention the sizes. So this is a very useful tool. So download that and install that on your machine, and then you can use SF symbols like this. So I'm going to try this, and I'm going to paste it here as well. So you can also try that. So I need a V stack. So inside of V stack, I'm going to do these images. And you can see the images, gear or sun. Sun is not there. I think person. So there is a person, there is this gear, and then there is this. And you can open that application and you can see there are so many of these images, and that all can be used for your development. Like for example, the arrow or note, like you can go ahead and say note here, and the note will come. You can say, you have to type in the exact name there, so that you can just copy from here and say this, and that will come here. So I thought this is something very handy that people could know. And you could actually do a weather here or gaming, like, all the symbols that you could use, they can be categorized like here in that SF symbol. Nature, like we can, if you're doing a weather application, then you can do sun, max, circle, fill. So I'm going to go there, and then I'm going to do this. So I get sun, max, fill. Then maybe another thing to try is this. So I get that. And then maybe something like rainy or dust. So all you have to do, image, system name, and then exact name, and then it will come there. Keyboard. Anybody tried that? Or health? You could just use like cross case. And some of the images may not be there because it could be a beta version that you are downloading, because just make sure that what version that you download and what version of Xcode you are using. So that could be it. The capsule look like buttons. Clip shape. That is, we tried the clip. In the button, somebody is asking about clip shape will give you the capsule shape. Do you see this here in the button style? I'm going to paste this again in the button style. Somebody asked, how do we give a shape to a button? And then you could use a clip shape that is into the button style. That you could just, this is one of the modifier for the button. So, okay, awesome. So let's go to next. So we saw SF symbols, which is very handy tool. I really like it and I use it a lot. So you can also try that. Now something great, we can see how the toolbar works. So you may have seen at the bottom of any application, you will see a toolbar. Oops, what happened? Okay, yeah, I'm going to do this navigation view. Yeah, so I'm going to explain this now. We are going little advanced, so I'm going to explain this now. I'm also going to type it here. That way you can also try that inside your body content view. And so now what we did was we have this navigation view. Inside that we have this text. That is my app. And then for that we have added a toolbar. And then inside that we have added a toolbar item group, inside which we have an image. Now we are going more complex. So this person is an image. Then we have a H stack. And inside that you have a eclipses image, and then divider, and then image with the trash icon there. So divider is not shown there, but there is a very fine line there. So if you remove the divider, probably you will see they are getting more close. And if I add a divider, you will see that there is a little bit space there between those two elements. So that is a divider's job. And the toolbar item group is basically grouping this image and then all the other images. Because of this H stack, it went on the right side. And because of, if we remove the H stack and just place all the three images together into the toolbar item group, then they will be like this. And I'm going to remove the divider as well. So that's how they will look like, because it has a frame and background and circle and etc. So do you see that? Play with it. Could you adjust the distance of the divider into the image? Yeah, you could. You will have to use your H stacks and V stacks accordingly. And all these images, you can again add modifiers to that, like it has been added like a circle, a background, a frame, and things like that. So something cool to try as a toolbar. Now let's talk about the sidebar. Oops. So I'm going to replace what we tried with the sidebar. And that is your navigation view, and inside that you have a list. Now, if you remember, we had talked about a table view. We started our discussion with the table view, which is like a list of items one after another, like the row, multiple rows. Like, we talked about how Facebook or Instagram has all these elements inside, stacked inside the table view. So equivalent of table view in the Swift UI is a list. List is just a list basically. You can just keep adding to the list here, like, and that way it just becomes a list. Now this is a static list and it doesn't do anything, but it just displays the list. And it has a title as a learn. But this is how the first step towards the navigation. We will learn how to add a link here so that once you click here, you can go to the next page. So I want you to try this and let me know if you can see this. At least this much. Let me know in the chat that you can see this. Yes, I can see it. Yeah, Shioma said yeah, Vrinda said yeah. Awesome. You guys are on top of this. Really nice. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace this content and add a new content there. And I'm going to also copy paste that in the chat so that you can try that. So now what we did is we already had, okay, I'm going to bring what we already had so that we can compare. So I'm going to paste this here. So this is what we had earlier, navigation view, and inside that we had a list and then the title. Now we still have the navigation view, we still have the list, but inside the list we have the navigation link now. Now we have added a link to each of the label. And in the link, you can see we added a destination because, okay, the link is there, but where would I need to go by clicking that link? So that link is taking us to another view, which is a small view, just like it has one text in it. And the name is courses home view or tutorial home view. And you can just say tutorials or squares or whatever, basically. There is no square tutorials as image, so that's why they've used the square. And now if you click this, voila, it goes to the next page. If you click this, it goes to the next page. Even if you learn this, you've learned so much about the SwiftUI development, because this is the most that you've probably seen in any UI development. Any page, and then it goes to the next page. It goes to the next page. If you learn the basics of navigation and the list and the table view, you guys are good. Then it's just the matter of having different data, different images, and different styles to use and, like, make it more beautiful. But the basic is navigation view, list, and the navigation link, and inside that label, and that's it. Make sense? Please try this. Let me know how did it work. I'll see what's next for us till then. Any UI app, any mobile application, you will see this. Is it working? Yes, yes, Lauren says yes. Shioma said yes. Awesome. Are you guys excited? Isn't this cool? Yeah? See, and how much line or number of lines of code we wrote? Probably less than 10, 15 lines here. Right? All we created a simple view. It's like just one body, one text in it, one body, one text in it. And all you had is a navigation view, list, navigation link, and that's it. And there is your navigation view there created. Very simple. Florence says, yeah. So that's the navigation view, or the UI navigation and the list. Now we will add a little bit more to that. So I'm going to replace that, the content view. And do you see these little buttons got added there? I'm going to paste this. You can also replace your content view with the new content that I just pasted. And let's look at that. What changed in the code? So we already had the navigation link, we already had labels, we already had the destination assigned to the link. Now we added a toolbar. We saw a toolbar which was at the bottom of the applications earlier. Now this is a toolbar which is at the top of the application. So these two things that we see, a person and the ellipsis, all that is at the added in, and we are grouping them. Toolbar group items, and then we group these two images, and that's it. We have, but it's not clickable, but at least we have the images there. So our next job is how to make it clickable and how to add more things there. So I want you to try this. So much easier than the olden days. Yeah. Very true. What does the placement do? Well, you try it, remove that and see confirmation actions and all. Try automatic or bottom bar. So the beauty of this is instead of asking me questions here, try. Because with your one dot, one click, you can play with it and see what happens. So I will go to the next one. We tried the toolbar. I want to show you the another thing now. Now you see that there are buttons inside the toolbar. Earlier we had images there. So now those buttons are clickable. How cool. So you can change, and if you see what is the what is added into the button is we have a button, we have an action, and it will say option A, option B, and the label, and then inside that we have my option one and the some system image in that. So the toolbar can be customized now, and I'm going to bring my console again, and I've already pressed these buttons so many times. So I'm going to clean that. You can press this trash button, it will clean everything. And I'm going to try. And it prints. So you can do your actions there. So I'm going to paste this again, and you guys try this and let me know how does that work for you. And with this preview, it makes it so so much easier just to develop and see what is happening with your UI side by side. Earlier, you had to run the whole project and then see what is coming up on your UI with the simulator. So now it's just easy. I'm going to look for the next one while you guys try this. Did it work? Any comments? Yes, working, Regina says. Awesome. So now if you have to place 5 buttons here, you don't have a space in the navigation toolbar to place the 5 buttons. So how do you do this? So you can place just one button there and you can have a drop down menu there. How cool. So how did we get the drop down menu? Now let's look at the code. Come back to the code. So we already had a toolbar. We already had a toolbar item. And then here we added a menu, and inside the menu we have a label and another label, option A, option B. We played with the buttons. Instead of this menu, we had images here. Instead of the menu, we had buttons there. And now the third thing we are trying is having a menu there. So now inside the menu, you can just have a drop down menu basically. And that can have option A, option B, and then if you click on that, it will print. It has now we are also playing with the gesture. I was supposed to tell you about the gestures toward the end, but we also have a gesture here. So on the tab gesture, we will be having printed something. We'll talk about the gesture a little bit later, but I just want you to see this menu like thing that can be created with the top bar. And let me copy paste this so that you can try this. Oops, it is too long to paste, it says. Let me just do the navigation view. Okay, Let me just do the toolbar. It says it's too long to paste. Huh? Why is it saying this for anything that I paste? Let me just say hi, so that works. Okay, what should I do now? Oh, let's try this. Huh. At least I was able to paste this. You can just put this much inside your dot toolbar because you already had a toolbar with you. So we learned 3 ways to have a navigation toolbar on the top. Does that work? Were you guys able to place it properly? Yes, yes, awesome, great. I'm happy to see all those yes. So now we are learning a new item, that is a grid. So grid is like a collection view. And I'm just probably going to do you can, in the grid, again, you have a grid and then a grid row. And then you can have a multiple of them like this. So now you just have a grid basically. So a collection view is the alternate or like the equivalent of that in the UI kit. So where you had in the photos application, you have so many photos, 4 photos, 5 photos in one line, and then like a collection of it you can see. So that is equivalent of that is grid here inside the grid inside the SwiftUI, and then you can just have anything in the one row. You can have multiple of this like that. So I want you to play with this, and I'm going to paste this again in the Slack and see. So yeah, try the grid view. Let me know if that works. And you can place any item here. It doesn't have to be text, image. You can have a button there, or you can have images there, multiple images. You can add the modifiers to the images, different things. But when you want to just play with the things, just to learn about various elements that SwiftUI has provided, you can just try these kind of things. Shioma says it works. Awesome. See, so till now you've learned text, labels, buttons, images, toolbars, navigation bar, and grid view. So many of the items from the SwiftUI. So these are the basic fundamental elements of the SwiftUI. Now you can combine them and create your multiple beautiful views around it. And it's just a matter of playing with it. So next is gesture has come now. So let's talk about the gesture. So I'm going to replace the grid and try the gesture. Oops, this is supposed to be the content. And I'm going to paste this, and you also try it and let me know what happens. So we got one of the system image, we gave the font, size, foreground color, texture, and then we added a tab gesture to that. And then when we tap, it says tapped. This is a tab gesture we added to any of the image. How wonderful, right? And there are so many different kinds of gestures, the rotation and the drag and long gesture, long tap, and there is the various ways you could use the gesture. But it's a bigger topic, so I just wanted to introduce gestures a little bit so that you know how it works. Please try, let me know if it works for you. I can wait here. Cool, it's working, Lauren says. Awesome. Works, Shioma says. Yes, working. Great, right? Amazing. I love gestures. So now we are coming back to, how to combine various views. So I'm going to ask you to have a stack. I'm going to start with the small stack. And so we will be creating a proper view today, which basically will have a map and then a circular image and then some details about it. So after that, we will see the one complete view, how to build a proper real view. Till now, we saw the various elements of navigation view. We saw how to build a toolbar and how to use a Vstack and Zstack and all this thing. Now it's time to build a proper views using that. So let's, I'm going to get a edge stack here and it's a horizontal stack, and I'm going to embed that into a V stack. Yeah, 1 minute. I'm going to just get all of this. That way I can remove what I don't want right now. Yeah. So now it is failing. Okay. Do I have all the brackets properly? Okay. Double content. Yeah, correct. There we go. Great, great, Shyama. There we go. So now we see that there is this edge stack, horizontal stack, which basically says the Joshua National Park tree. And then at the there is a California, and then we have a text, and all of this is there into a particular V stack. Now I'm going to remove all the extra things so that I'm not confused with that. Yeah. So we have this particular edge stack, and then if I remove that, you can see a turtle rock, about the turtle rock, and the description for that. So I'm just going to place that, and this map view is now will complain because it is looking for a particular view which is not there. So I'm going to bring them up and let's see what happens. So I will create another file here, right click, new file, Swift, and then I'm going to name it circle image dot Swift and paste everything there, that is with the circle image, and it is going to use a turtle rock image. So I'm going to bring up a turtle rock image. It's there in the folder that I have shared with you. So I'm going to grab that image. Where did that image go? One minute, I'm just looking for the image. There we go. So now Map view is not there yet. That's why it is giving us the problem. So let's go and get it the map view as well. So you can create another map view. And add it here. I already had created it. So I'm going to paste the content so that you guys can try, add a file and put all the content there. This is the one for the map view and this is for the circle, and we will go over that now. So circle image is another view which has a body, which has an image and which has a clip shape of a circle. So that you can see a clip shape is of circle, and then there is an overlay of circle stroke, and then the background of that is white and line width is 4. So you see that there is this beautiful white bright thing is there around the image, that is this getting created because of the overlay. And then we have added a shadow of radius 7. So to create this circular image, we added an image and then some of the modifiers there. And that's all this view is doing here at this moment. So this is one view. Now let's take a look at the map view. So here we are using a map kit. So this is another framework that provided by the Apple for us to use, and it has a state variable region which is of type mk coordinate region, and it takes the center and span and some coordinates detail. Don't worry about the numbers yet, but let's learn about the mk coordinate region and then how the body is basically taking the map and the coordinate region, and then we provided this region as a state variable. So this is also learning to define the state variable and passing the values for that. You can change the values for that any time, and then it will just show the different coordinates of the lat and long basically. But this is how the map view is created, and we created it into a separate file altogether. So this is a map view. Now we had a circle view as well. And now we had our own content view, which has a map view, a circle view, and a Vstack. So do you see how beautifully this view is getting created now? Yeah? Awesome. So I want you to try this. I sent you already the map view and the circle. So I'm going to send you the content view so that you guys can try that. And look how beautiful the view has been created. You guys like that? Awesome. I see some people are nodding, and you guys try that and let me know how does that work. And it's so easy to understand, right? There is no rocket science here. Just some shapes, some images, some text, and all we have to learn about some stacks and how to combine the views. So here now we learned how to combine the views as well. So this is one your small view, another image is this map is another small view, and then the rest of it is another small view. So we've combined 3 views here. Yeah, makes sense? Have you guys tried? Oh, looks amazing, Regina says. I think she got it. And then now you can add a navigation system around it, and you can have now you can create an app which basically can show all the national parks and their details around it. Because this is a Turtle Rock, it's a Joshua National Tree Park in California, and you can add some description and you can play with the data there. You can have the list of JSON data of all the national park, and then you can create an app using that. And I'm actually going to show you how to do that, but probably we will not do it together, but I will walk you how to do that. Shioma says nice. Anybody else tried this? Please try. We can wait for you. I will see till that time what do we have next. Okay, yeah, we're almost there. But I want you to be self-sufficient and how to go from here. How do we improve our skills of SwiftUI? So I had used some of these references. They're already there in the PDF file that is there on my GitHub page. You can use that. I'm going to show you this Swift hacking. They have, okay, I'll just type in. So many free material here, 100 days. And they have one thing, not this. Yeah, I think that's the one. Yeah, this is the one. And every small detail they have there. How to use a word scramble. No, this is. Yeah, I think that's the one. So they have lots of, like, you can go day one and you can learn about the variables. This is about Swift. I'm looking for their Swift UI. Okay, yeah. What does the Swift variables do? You can read all of things here, and one day you can try one thing, and that's something cool. The project, they have multiple projects here, so you can start a SwiftUI project and day one try something, creating a form. Like, you can create a form. They are explaining everything here. So body, a form, like form is another element, like we learned about grid, toolbar, navigation bar, that way you can use a form as well. So we can try form as well. And you can add the groups and all. So explore. This website is very good. So I would like you to explore and go through that. So that's one website. Apple documentation is always the best thing to go for, because you're learning directly from the source, and they have a lot of things there. You can learn. Okay, I'm just going to type Apple Swift UI. Actually, I'm going to type Vstack. Yeah, and here, there we go. So here you can see on the left hand side, there is so much documentation about toolbars, search, views, images, Vstack, we saw that today. And then lazy Hstack, lazy Vstack, grid row, and lazy H grade, lazy V grade. So there is much more information here that you can take a look at. Gesture, you can look at the gesture, the tables, the list, and everything is here. So that's something good. But they also have some projects which I wanted to show you, and one of the projects we did it today from there. So yeah, so creating and combining views is the project that under the SwiftUI Essentials on the Apple developer. And how cool they are showing, like, look, it's very basic and really small detailed steps they have shown. Like, you add this, what is the example there, and Okay, then you add how to add a text, how to edit it, and various ways of that of doing. And then you can basically very step by step how to add an image and everything. So this is the same thing we followed today. And then they added the map view, and that's how the map view. So now you can see that there was this one view as a map view, the another view was a circle view, and the third view was where we had this information. And all three of them got combined into this content view. So that's what we had it here. So we followed that, and then at the end we saw this one particular view. So we followed this article. Now you can go ahead and go to the next article, which is building list navigation. I don't think we have a time for this today. I mean, they say it's 35 minutes, but it may take you more time. But they have the project files here, so you can download. They have a starting project and the ending project. So you can start the project, which we have already done now, where we are showing the circular image and the map. And then on top of that, they are adding the list. Like I'll just go to the bottom of this page so that you will know what we are talking about. And if you like, probably give a thumbs up, or let us know that if you like a follow-up for this, then in the follow-up we could do the list project where we can have a full-fledged app of a national forest showing. But here you can see that it has this list kind of a structure, and inside the list, when you click, the list is basically all the national park, and when you click there, you can see there is this small arrow, and then it will take us to the detail page like this. So that way I can actually have created it, and I will show it to you. And it's also there inside the folder. If you see the folder that I shared with you on Slack, on the GitHub, it has that. So 1 minute, I will show you how that will look like. So I would like you to try that. Thank you for hosting, and learned a lot today in talks. Yes, USCS grad here and 4 years of experience in IBM, Samsung, wow, IIT Madras. I'm an iOS enthusiastic and love to connect. Wow, yeah. Let us know here if you would like to. Yeah, Jody is asking that question. So yeah, let us know if you like another session. So we could do that, because it's a lot of content today. So I thought maybe it's a lot. So this is how the simulator, the app will look like. This is your basic project just to build one view. So now we can look at the complete view. And we can talk about the architecture models of the mobile development, how the MVP model works, and that's what is into the next one. But that's where here how it will look like. You've already seen how to build a navigation view. We had the classes in tutorial form. So we already know how to build this kind of a list. We had built that, remember? And then when you click on the classes, it went to the classes page. When you clicked on the tutorials, it went to the tutorials page. Now here we are talking about various these parks or national forest, and it is taking you to the information of that particular one. If you go to St. Mary's, it is showing you the map of St. Mary's, and then image, and then some description about it. But in that case, you need a JSON data like this. So in next class, we can learn about a JSON data, what it looks like, what it means, how do we read from this. Now you can see that there is information about each park here, the turtle rock, the silver salmon. So it's like a JSON data of, it's a model basically, the data we have. And then we can create a model out of that, which basically will parse the data in the JSON file, and then it will be stored in one particular this struct where we'll have the ID, name, park, state, description, image, blah, 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 all the information that is given into this JSON data for us. And then next will be the views that we will be building. So, so that's for either for you to try as a homework after this. You can go to the Apple documentation, look for SwiftUI, and then look for this list view. Or if you like to have a follow-up session, we can do it together whenever we can do it. I'll leave that to Jody. Is there a Discord group for iOS developers to collaborate? I don't know about that. But maybe we have a Slack group from Women Who Code. So you can try these things. I think that's all I had to share. And I will stop sharing so that you can ask me any questions, any concerns if you have, and try it out. Reading is the best. And there are a lot of YouTube channels as well that you can try. But I just figured out that, like, it's just so boring to do it by yourself. And it's fun to do it with the group. So that's why these kind of meetups are much nicer, and you can learn from each other as well. So that way, it's nicer and it's much more social learning, group learning.
I shared with the group